adventurers, welcome to another playthrough. Today we're going to be playing Aeons End The Descent. This is going to be my first time playing this version of Aeons End, so it is going to be a little bit of a learn and play. I believe I have a decent grasp of what's going on here, but I may make mistakes along the way, try to catch those if I notice them, and yeah, just kind of go from there. So I've played older versions of Aeons End. There's definitely some additional mechanics added to this one that I've never seen before, so I'm excited to get into it and see how things pan out. Okay, so the first turn card is going to be for the Nemesis, so we'll draw the top card of the Nemesis deck. Any player suffers 2 damage. Any player gains Scorched Pearl from the Curse deck. So it does seem like both of those are happening. So right off the bat, we lose 2 health. 3 there, and then Scorched Pearl. Okay, so I guess this goes in the discard pile. Gain 1 Aether token, suffer 1 damage, or spend 3 if you do destroy this. Okay. Okay. All right, let's see what happens next. Okay, so it's going to be player 1. I am player 1 and 2 since I'm playing solo. So it is going to be my turn. We have 1 open breach and a bunch that we can focus. And they're going to spin this way, I believe, if I focus them. All right, let's see what we got here. So we can gain an Aether, or any player loses 1 charge. If they do, the friend gains 2 charges, and our friend in this encounter is Delana the Healer. So I guess we can kind of quickly go over some of the stuff that's going on here. So we're doing the intro tutorial fight against the Infector, and we're using the new Friends and Foe module that is added with this version of the game. The foe is going to be the Swarm, and it looks like they're going to be continuously spreading broodlings into the fight, having us have to deal with those, doing damage to us, doing damage to the Gravehold, different things like that. And then we have Delana the Healer, who is going to be there to assist with healing us, and also, let's see, I don't know what all of her cards do, but as the name kind of indicates, as she fills up on her charges, she is able to heal either me or the Gravehold for 4 life. So we do have some healing, even without card play, that can help us here. And then on the board for our shop, for the starting shop, we're going to have Flamium. That either lets us gain 2 Aether charges or place an Immolate token on an enemy. And a lot of these status effects, from what I believe, are new to the series. That may not be the case, but it's new for me. So Immolate, when I place it on them, the status effects are going to sit on an enemy, and that can either be a minion or the actual boss. And whenever we defeat them or add another status effect, that will trigger the ones that are already on them. So Immolate is going to allow us to destroy a card in hand, so that'll be good for kind of clearing out some trash as we expand our deck a little bit further. And then Venom is going to trigger 2 additional damage whenever that procs. So that's a way to inflict more damage on top of whatever we're doing with our spells. And then Electrify allows us to gain a charge. And the only other way to gain charges outside of some card effects is going to be to spend 2 Aether tokens. And whenever we have 4 of those, we can trigger our ability Reality Warp. We are playing Thraxer. I've never played this character before, so this is going to be new for me. His Reality Warp ability says, activate during any player's main phase. I'm the only one, so it'll just be during my main phase. That player focuses a breach. Then you gain a card from the supply that costs up to twice the focus cost of their open breach with the highest focus cost. Okay. So let me try to make sure I understand that. That player focuses a breach, which is going to be turning these. And when we focus, we're allowed to play a spell on that breach that's focused. And then on the next turn, I have to cast a spell that is in the focus slot, whereas spells in the open breach, I can let those sit there as long as I want and hold on to them for later turns if I choose. So it says, then you gain a card from the supply that costs up to twice the focus cost of their open breach with the highest focus cost. So opened are just going to be these completed ones, I believe. That costs up to twice the focus cost. So it would have to be one of their open breach with the highest focus cost. So that one is guaranteed already opened. So I guess it would be one of these later ones. Their open breach with the highest focus. When you flip these over, do you still, yeah, you don't see the focus cost anymore. So I guess I would have to look at those. That is interesting. The other option is if that player has no closed breaches, deal 8 damage. So if I'm able to open all of these up, that is going to be a very powerful hit for the cost of 8 Aether tokens total. But we can get those over time. We don't have to do that all in one turn. Okay. And then, yeah, to continue the items in the shop, we also have Washium. Gain 2 Aether tokens. You may spend 1 Aether token to focus your closed breach with the lowest focus cost. Okay, so that helps us kind of move these along and open them a little bit quicker. In the beginning, it's not going to be super crazy because it's just going to be focusing some of these that have a cost of 2. But as we get to those later ones, that could be very, very helpful to help lower the cost of those focus costs. We have Acidic Flowmite. Gain 3 Aether tokens. You may lose 1 charge, which is the 4 slots down here. If you do, place an Immolate token on an enemy. And as we said before, Immolate allows us to clear our deck of some garbage cards. Then we have Relics, and these are also new for me. We have the Coruscating Mirror. And it says when a minion is drawn from the Nemesis deck, you may reveal this from hand to place an Electrify token on that minion. And Electrify allows us to gain a charge. So I have to reveal that from my hand when that happens, okay? And I wonder if that's when you reveal it from your hand, does that use it? I don't think so. The bottom effect says an ally draws a card and gains a Aether token. So that is the actual use effect. And then Defensive Dome says when an attack is drawn from the Nemesis deck, you may reveal and destroy this to discard that attack without resolving it. So that's great. Or the use effect on it is any player gains 2 life. So this one says reveal and that one says destroy. And this one makes me think you get to just show it. It doesn't say play it, just says reveal. And then I get to put an Electrify token. And another thing that is new for me is on the top right of some of these cards, you're going to see 2 different costs. So the top right cost is 7 Aether tokens. And I believe that is if you have 7, you can outright purchase the card, put it in your discard pile and use it on a later turn. Or you can pay 4 to develop the card. And when cards are in the develop space, you can on a following turn spend 4 to then acquire the card. In a 1-player game, I guess it's just a way if like maybe you don't have enough money in a single turn to afford it and there's nothing that's really interesting to you at that moment, you can get it developed or in the develop area. And then you can pay that cost again, which overall is going to end up costing you a little bit more of the total value of the card. But it's a way to slowly acquire it versus just paying fully outright. So the other interesting part of that is if you are playing with other players, it is going to allow you to put it in the develop zone, and then anybody can pay the develop cost to acquire the card. So it's a neat way to kind of help other players acquire cards that maybe they don't have a ton of currency on their turns in order to purchase things, and it could be very beneficial for them to have it. The next card we have is Silent Sting. It is a spell. And it says when it's cast, place a venom token on an enemy and deal 1 damage to it. So you deal 1, get a venom 2 damage token laid out on the monster, and whenever that effect triggers, you get to do, you know, that 2 damage afterwards. Then we have Legacy Slayer, another spell. While prepped, so while it's sitting in one of the breaches, when any player gains a relic, gain 1 charge. Cast deals 3 damage. So that is a nice way to gain some charges when any player gains a relic. Okay, cool. So that might be good to get early on so we can get some free charges off of it throughout the game. Time Rift is the next spell. It says cast, deal 4 damage. Each player may reveal the top card of their deck and either discard it or return it to the top of their deck. I played normal Aeons End, or Aeons End, the base version, and I had a card very similar to this, and it's just a nice way to skip maybe some possible junk cards that you still have in your deck early on and get to those really good ones quicker. So that's pretty nice. And then the last card we have is Restoration Siphon. Cast, deal 6 damage, or cast, deal 1 damage, and Gravehold gains 3 life. So our Gravehold starts with 30 life. We start with 10, but we already got hit for 2. And if either of us, actually I should say, if Gravehold gets to 0, we lose the game outright. But if we hit 0, we get exhausted, which has some effects, but in a single player game it actually does not end the game if you get exhausted. It does make things more difficult, so you definitely want to try to avoid it as much as possible, but it's not an outright just lose condition in single player. Okay, so let's continue our turn. We have a lot of gems and we have 1 spell, so I'm going to go ahead and prep my Spark spell. And on my next turn, I can choose to use it. It's in an open breach, so I'm not required to. And we're going to gain 1, 2, let's see what this says. During any player's turn, when that player focuses or opens a breach, you may discard this. If you do, gain 2. So I could do that as well. I don't have any charges, so I'm not going to do the second effect of the banner. Although I could gain a charge and then use that. But I do want to try to start getting some cards here. So I do have a 2 focus on my second breach. We wouldn't be able to put a spell on it because we don't have any right now. But that would get us the 2 tokens back. And then we could use that one to have 3 and acquire a better gem. Okay, so we're going to use our first 2 to focus, and we're going to rotate that. Then, because we are going to trigger this effect when a player focuses or opens a breach, we can discard this. If you do, gain 2 Aether tokens. And then for this card, we are going to just gain the token instead of losing a charge since we don't have any. So we're at 3 tokens right now. And we're going to go ahead and acquire a... And I apologize. These cards stay in the play area until my turn is done. That one got discarded because it said so in order to use the effect. So I will purchase this, put that in my discard pile, and now one of the interesting parts of this game is you get to discard your cards in any order that you choose, and that matters because your deck never gets shuffled. So whenever my deck runs out over here, I'm just going to take my discard pile and literally flip it face down, and I have some control of what that's going to look like as I draw from it again because I get to choose the order of which I'm discarding. So anything that's near the bottom, I'm going to get sooner when it flips over. So I will put my banner in first and then my crystals. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and draw 5. And another interesting thing is you can keep cards. So if I didn't use any, I believe. No, maybe not. I might be thinking of a different game. I might have to verify that. But I think you can keep cards you don't play and then you just draw up to 5. But if I get into that scenario, I will verify that information. Okay, so let's see who's next in the turn order. Okay, so it's going to be foe. So their top card from the foe deck is going to trigger. It says place Broodling into play and Gravehold suffers 2 damage, or the Swarm gains 3 charges and the Friend gains 1 charge. And his ability is place the bottommost minion from the Nemesis discard pile back into play. If there are no minions in the Nemesis discard pile, place 2 Broodlings into play instead. So do we want to play 1 or risk him being able to play 2? Because he's going to have 3 out of 5 charges already. If I do the second option. I think we're going to do the top. I don't like him having 3 charges. I don't know why. That doesn't feel great. So what happens now is the top card of his draw deck does get flipped face up. So I do get to see, I get an insight of like what is coming up whenever he has a turn again. And I know he's only going to have 1 turn per rotation of turn order cards. So we have quite a bit before this happens again. But his new card says, place a Broodling into play with 4 life. Any player discards a relic in hand that costs 2 or more. Okay. So he's going to put a Broodling into play, and our Gravehold is going to take 2 damage. It's down to 28. And Broodling says, when this is discarded, return it to the Broodling deck. Okay, so I think this is just a pile of the same creatures, and they just kind of cycle whenever these cards place them into play. When his persistent is any player suffers 1 damage and discards a card. These persistent effects will happen at the end of a Nemesis turn. So hopefully we go next and we can take care of this guy. He has 3 health currently. Okay, so player 2 is also me. So I am going to get a chance to go. Okay, and we're going to choose to trigger our Spark. So we're going to do 1 damage to this guy. Fortunately, not a ton. That will go in my discard pile. And then for this turn, we have 4 crystals and a Spark. So we are going to prep our Spark again. And we do have 4 to spend this time. Okay. I think we're going to grab Legacy Slayer. I want to start getting some damage just so when these Broodlings come out, I have something to deal with them, because Spark doing 1 damage a turn is not going to be super effective. So we'll put that in first because we purchased it. And now we simply flip this over, and that is now our new draw pile. Let's see, hopefully we go again, and we do. So player 1, I'm going to trigger Spark again. This will go in the discard pile. And I should have drawn 5. Ooh, I see our banner card in there. Oh, and now we got the Scorched Pearl, which was a curse that was added to our deck. I can gain 3 and then destroy this, which I probably will do. I don't want to take damage. Okay, so we got a lot of new cards, all gems though, which isn't super great. Immolate. Yeah, Immolate could be good. But we have the ability to get a good chunk of change right now. So we could destroy this for 3. We could gain, let's see. We could gain 2. And then focus. And then we could use our infuser in order to gain 2 back after discarding it. So that would put us at 3, 5, 6, 7. And that would allow us to get the Restoration Siphon, which 6 damage is a lot. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. Okay, so we're not gonna immolate. I kind of want to, but we won't here. So I gain 2. I'm gonna go ahead and focus this guy. So we are now 1 away from opening our second breach, which is awesome. And then because we focused, we are going to use this effect, and we're going to discard this card in order to gain 2 currency. So this is used. We're going to spend 3 and destroy this. And then we have 4 here, and then wait, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then with that 7, we're going to get Restoration Siphon. And then we are going to choose the order of which we put these back in. So we're going to do that. We have no spells prepped this time, which isn't great. And now there's a good chance that the enemy is going to go and get that persistent effect off, which is not ideal. Yep, it is the Nemesis's turn. So we're going to draw a Nemesis card now. Okay, so this is a power. So this card will stay in effect for 2. I believe power 2 is 2 Nemesis turns. And if it's not destroyed before a second Nemesis turn happens, it will unleash, which will do the unleash effect on the Infector. Any player then suffers 3 damage, and any player discards a card in hand. We can get rid of this by just spending 5 Aether tokens in order to get rid of it. So we do have a way to get rid of it, which is nice. And I'm just going to verify when those powers kind of tick down, because that's going to be very, very important. We also didn't have our ally go yet, which will be nice. I know there is a page that emphasizes how power cards work. Power card. Okay, and then place the power card into play. Let's see. Okay. It is placed directly into play as a power 3. Okay, the read a card's effect. Power tokens are removed and powers resolved during the Nemesis main phase. Okay, yep. So it's during the Nemesis main phase is when those power tokens will start to deplete. So we do have a bit. Okay, and that was that. Next is going to be me again. Let's see what we got. Ooh, we did get our Legacy Slayer. So we're going to go ahead and play that. And we could benefit from gaining a relic this turn in order to trigger gaining a charge. But our spark is also kind of sitting here. And I could spend 2 to finally open that breach, which just gives us another slot. As we start to acquire more spells, it's going to be very, very important. Or we're just going to have dead cards in our hand, which is unfortunate. Oof, or we can spend a 3 to get a relic or even a gem. Or a spell even as well. Yeah, I think we're going to do that. We're going to spend 2. We are going to be kind of giving up on 1 of our crystals this turn, but we're going to go ahead and open this breach. So now we have 2 options and place our spark in there. And I believe can we not prep spells? Well, it says you can focus a breach and then prep a spell. So I don't see why you would not be able to. You can open one of your closed breaches by paying the open cost currently indicated at the top of the breach token. When you open a breach, flip the breach. Yep, open breach, say open. A spell can be prepped to a breach on the turn that the breach is opened. Okay, beautiful. Just want to make sure I'm doing that right. And then, yeah, we're going to have 1 crystal that's going to be wasted here. So we got 1, 2 cards. Man, it's so hard. I like instinctually just want to shuffle so bad. But it's also kind of nice once you kind of just accept the fact that that's not how this works. All right, last turn order card should be our friend. And the friend says, Delana the healer gains 2 charges, or any player returns a card from their discard pile to their hand. We don't have a discard pile right now, so she will gain 2 charges. All right, getting closer to healing, not going to complain about that. And her next card says, any player focuses a breach, or any player discards a prep spell. If they do, Delana the healer gains 3 charges. That's pretty nice for like a spark where it's like not super crazy. That could be nice to just trigger a heal. Okay, give this a little bit of a shuffle. Yeah, it does say draw phase. Place all gems and relics that you have played this turn on top of your discard pile in any order you choose. Draw cards from the top of the deck until 5 cards are in hand. So I do think you could keep if you want. Ah, Nemesis going. Okay. Another power. So this has a power of 2. Oh, and he should have went. Oh no. Okay, so that actually is okay. So when this power triggered, I should have took a damage, and I should have discarded a card, and I would have discarded that money, the Aether token, because it was a dead card anyway. So that kind of works out. All right. So this new one says I have to spend 6 to discard it. And power 2, unleash. Any player gains a Scorched Pearl from the curse deck. Okay, so one of these will go away because the Nemesis did get a chance to go. And this is going to happen again. So that's not fun. So I have to discard a card. Oof. Oh, geez. We'll get rid of that guy. That does not feel good. Really hopeful he doesn't go again. Okay, it's us. All right, so we are going to do our spark. Oop. In order to finish off this minion, put him back over there. Ooh, and we can do 3 damage here to the boss, because we don't really have any other minions. I am going to prep Restoration Siphon. Yeah. Because we're not going to get a relic here. So we're going to go ahead and use our Legacy Slayer. We're going to do 3 damage to the boss. Puts him down to 57. And then we got a Spark I'm going to prep. And 2 crystals. So we probably are just going to get a charge here. Yeah, I don't believe there's anything else we can do. We do not have enough money to get rid of these powers. Oh man. This is where having a lot of spells and not a lot of damage is not great. So it might be better for me to hold on to these spells so they don't go back in my deck, to hope or to see if I can get some gems instead. Because we're going to be taking a good amount of damage here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do have 6. So we have a way to get rid of these if he doesn't go. Okay, it's us. All right. So I'm not worried about the 6 one as much. So 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to spend 5 to get rid of this guy. I don't want to take the 3 damage and then have to discard. That sounds awful. I'm not worried about that one triggering. A Scorched Pearl from the curse deck really isn't that bad. Oh, but he does get to unleash as well, so I guess that is not great. But we're going to do Banner of Infusion's second effect here. We're going to get rid of a charge, And we're going to give our healer 2 charges. Because I do want to heal soon. We are down 4 health. So topping off would be great. And that is going to be everything here. So we'll put that guy first. Actually, we don't really care about the banner too much. Nah, banner is just a better crystal. There's no reason not to. And I should have also did my spells. So my apologies. I'll go ahead and do that now. I could heal my Gravehold, but I kind of just want to do 6 damage. So actually, we're going to do 7 because of Spark and Restoration Siphon. Boss is down to 50. Ooh, and these should have went in first. Order matters. So we're going to put those there, then that. 1 card. 5. Okay. See who goes next. Nemesis. Unleash. Gravehold suffers 1 damage. Any player suffers 2 damage. 2. So we're at 4 health. Yikes. And also we need to see what the Unleash is. Okay, if the Infector has 0 Nemesis tokens, it gains a Nemesis token. So that's one of these guys. Then reveal the top card of the infection deck, and the player with the fewest infections gains that infection. Otherwise, each player resolves all of their infections, and the Infector loses a Nemesis token. All right, so we're going to get our first infection. Play a card in hand on top of your deck, or suffer 1 damage. So do the infections... How does that work? Okay, so it triggers when I gain another infection, right? Then reveal top card of the infection deck. That player with the fewest infections gains that infection. Otherwise, each player resolves all of their infections and the Infector loses a Nemesis. Okay, so it doesn't trigger yet. Okay, that's not horrible. So that is done. I mean, the damage was kind of the worst part there. We are down to 4 health. Okay, and now we have Foe. Place a Broodling into play with 4 life, or any player discards a relic in hand that costs 2 or more. I don't have any relics yet. Yikes. Also, that was the Nemesis turn, so we are going to lose 1 of the power tokens there. And this guy is going to have 4 health instead of 3. Okay. Let's see, we are definitely going to play Legacy Slayer again. And Spark for our second prep. And then we have 3 unless we do this guy, which would just mean we end with 2. But I do kind of want 3. Yeah. So we're going to gain 3, and we're going to purchase this relic. And because we purchased a relic, we gain a charge. So we end up getting a free charge anyway. And that is going to be our turn. Let's go there. All right, next turn. Hey, it's me. Nice. Wait a second. Why did I just go? The Foe went. It was the Nemesis, yes, and then the Foe did their thing, and then I came out. I don't know why I just took a whole turn. So that would have been my turn. I have no idea why I just went ahead and took a turn. So that should have been what that card was. Okay. Okay, so these cards are for a future turn. Then the friend's gonna go. Any friend can focus, or any player can focus a breach. Ooh. I could force a heal here. I would have to discard a prepped spell, which I don't really want to do because I have 4 damage, which is a perfect amount to get rid of this guy on my next turn. So I think I'm just gonna focus a breach. And it just says focuses a breach. There is no, it doesn't say the lowest or anything like that. So I think we're gonna do that. And her next card is any player draws a card or any player gains 2 Aether tokens. Okay. Now, yep, it's gonna be me for the last turn here. Now, we're gonna go ahead and cast both of our spells. So we're doing 4 damage. Get rid of this guy. Riddling goes back. Put this guy here. This guy here. All right, and we have Restoration Siphon. We're gonna place there. And then a Spark. And we do have 2. Ooh, we could give her a charge here. So that would put us to 4. Ooh. Man, I wish we had 5. 3, we could get Silent Sting, which isn't crazy good. I feel like I do want to trigger the heal. I'm a little nervous. Yeah, so we will have 1, 2, 3. We're not going to use this for the token. And we're going to get another Flamium. I do want to get some more buying power. And then we're going to get rid of a charge to give our healer 2 charges. So it's going to use up 5, keep 1. And it says any player or Gravehold can gain 4 health. We are going to gain 4 health. So we go from 4 to 8. Put that there. Okay. We'll get our next 5 here in a second. Let's see, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it's gonna be me. Okay. Okay, so we'll do this guy for, actually, gotta cast our spells. We are gonna go ahead and do 6 plus 1, so we'll do 7 to the boss. He is down to 43. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead. We have no spells. We're going to place our relic down. An ally draws a card and gains a token. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. We could lose 1 and then, oh no, that it costs more to focus now. So we have 6. Is there anything? Nothing worth 6, unfortunately. Actually, we could get rid of that. Like Scorched Pearl getting you 3 and then you get to destroy the card is really not bad. It's almost kind of nice to have it. but I would take the infection. And it does say infections stay in front of players permanently. So it's going to trigger it, and then the next turn we gain one again? I don't fully understand how that works. If the Infector has 0 Nemesis tokens, it gains a Nemesis token, then reveal the top card of the Infection deck. And players with the fewest infections gain that infection. Or the player with the fewest infections. Otherwise, each player resolves all of their infections in the... Okay, so if he has a token, he's going to trigger it. If he doesn't, I get another one, he gains a token again. So yeah, they're just going to keep piling up. So we probably don't want to let that unleash go through. As unexciting as that is, we're going to go ahead and spend our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, wait, and then 6 from that, yeah, to get rid of this guy. Let's not let the infections get out of control. So that go there. Okay. Draw 5. Hey, it's gonna be me again. Okay. We do have Legacy Slayer. And we have Spark. Ooh, and we have 2 Flamiums here. So 2, 4, 5. 5 by. I kind of like the idea of Defensive Dome, so I could develop it for 4, and then I have to spend 4 on a future turn in order to acquire it. Or we can use 5 to get Time Rift. Each player may reveal the top card of their deck and either discard it or return to the top of their deck. That is really nice. 4 damage is not bad either. Or we can gain 3 Aether tokens. You may lose 1 charge. If you do, place an Immolate token on an enemy. What was the one that let us get rid of cards? Because I did want that. Didn't I read something that lets us destroy cards, or am I mistaken? I might be mistaken then. Or was it reality? No. That just lets us do a lot of damage there. We could also focus this turn as well. Oh man, so many decisions. The buying power is nice for some of these cards, these power cards that are coming out. But being able to control at least 1 card for our cycle to like get rid of some junk could be really good. Immolate. Oh, Immolate is what lets us destroy cards. That's what it is. So yeah, we'll grab this guy. Because hopefully when we get some enemies out, we can start doing Immolate and getting rid of our 1 cost or 1 Aether token value cards. We got 2 here. 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that is our turn. Nemesis, okay. Minion, Bone Titan. Whoa, the art for that looks crazy. He has 5 health. Gain a Scorched Pearl from the Curse deck when he's defeated. And his persistent is Gravehold suffers 2 damage. So he's going to keep hitting the Gravehold while he is alive. Let's see. We don't have any other... We didn't have anything out, so nothing else triggers here. I believe we just move on. All right, it is us. Okay, so we do have 4 damage right now. Go ahead and do that to this guy. He is left with 1. Okay. We do have some spells. Yes. Love that card. That could be great to do the 1 damage if he's still alive and gain 3 health on our Gravehold. Let's see. Oh man. Oof. Can I, ooh. See, this is one of those things where like, I don't know the game super well and I should have done something. So I did have, this is going to be a little bit of a mulligan here, a little bit of a backstep, and forgive me, it's just because I'm still learning. But I did have the coruscating mirror. So when a minion is drawn, which would have happened the turn before, when I had this hand of 5, you may reveal this hand, or reveal this from hand to place an electrify token. So we're going to go ahead and do that because I messed up. Okay. And then I'm going to play that, and it says an ally draws a card and gains a Aether token. And let's see if we can find anything regarding relics to make sure we can do that. Like I said, it does say reveal. It does not say play or discard, while the other one did explicitly say to discard. Okay. I wonder if to discard or FX. Man, it doesn't highlight that on the back. I think we're going to play it that way. Have a wide variety of effects and are resolved as soon as they are played. Yeah, it does not break that down. At least that I can see at a quick glance here. So because it does say reveal, I'm gonna assume I don't get rid of it. Okay. So I did play those this turn. I don't have any charges currently. So that puts me at 1, 2, 3, depending on if I do this or not. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna use 1, 2, 3, and we're gonna focus. And then after we focus, because we did that, we're gonna discard this to gain 2. And we're gonna use the 2 in order to gain a charge. Okay. Let's see who goes next. It is going to be Foe. Okay. So, his next card, place a Broodling into play with 4 life, or any player discards a relic in hand that costs 2 or more. Let's check our hand. Oh, this is not a great hand. And it absolutely does not have a relic. So now we're gonna have 2 minions coming out. This guy's gonna have 4 health. Okay. And then now our friend is gonna go. Any player draws a card, or any player gains 2 tokens. We definitely don't need the tokens this turn after looking at my hand. So that being said, we are going to draw a card. Wow, lots of money. Lots and lots of money. What do we do here? Okay. It is going to be Nemesis. So we are going to get the persistent triggers to go off. We got another power. This one has a power of 3. It unleashes and the Gravehold suffers 4 damage if it goes off. Chaos Orb. Then for this guy, he is going to hit the Gravehold for 2. Then this guy says any player suffers 1 damage and discards a card. So we will go ahead and get rid of a crystal. Okay, and then I believe it's going to be us to end this wave. We do have spells to use, so we're going to do that first. Can't do that beforehand. So we are going to, I think we just go for maximum damage this time, just because we have a fresh minion out. So we're going to do 3 to the Broodling. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to do 6. So he's just dead. Oh, we should have flipped over our Swarm card as well. So that is used. And then we're going to do 1 to the Bone Titan. And the Bone Titan has a defeated effect and an electrify. So we're going to gain another charge, which is nice. And it says when defeated, gain a Scorched Pearl from the Curse deck. Okay. And that was our Spark. Actually, the Spark killed him, and then we would have gotten that from defeating him. We have no new spells to put into play. That'll go in the discard pile. But we do have now 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 buy. Jeez. We could grab the Defensive Dome, or we could get another 6 damage Restoration Siphon. Like, we're ahead right now, so the Defensive Dome doesn't sound as appealing, but if we fall behind, that could be such a good card to kind of catch us back up. I think we're gonna grab the Restoration Siphon for now, because I'm feeling pretty good. Let's make sure we put that guy on the bottom, this one after that. The bottom of the deck is just gonna be a lot of buy. I think we're doing pretty good. Let's see. Okay. The next Swarm card is the Swarm gains 2 charges or Gravehold suffers 3 damage. He's currently at no charges. His effect would actually summon a minion now, which is not great. Initially, it wasn't that threatening. It's becoming more so. Okay, so he is going to go next. So, I think we're going to let him gain 2 charges. Because I want to save that heal for myself when the healer does do that again and not the Gravehold. I'm hoping to avoid that. And we do have some Gravehold heals in our deck now that we've acquired another Restoration Siphon. So hopefully we don't have to use our healer's turn in order to do that. That's going to be his turn. Okay. Ooh, it's going to be me. So let's go ahead and do our Legacy Slayer. And then we're going to do a Spark as well. Can't trigger those yet. And we have a 2, 3, 4, or we could have 3 buy if we use some of that in order to focus. Actually, it's a little bit less. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think we're going to use 3. Okay, so we're going to use 3 to focus. And then we gain 2. We're going to discard this. We use these 3. Discard this because we focus to gain 2 back. And then we will use that 2 in order to get another charge for our guy there. I'm going to go ahead and draw up to 5. And then we're going to see who's going to go next. Ooh. And we do have our mirror relic. So if a minion does come out this turn, we can electrify it. And it is the Nemesis's turn. And we got a minion. Okay. So his persistent is he unleashes. We're going to lose a power token on Chaos Orb. And he's going to gain 6 life. And because we have the mirror, he will gain electrify. All right. See who's next. It is going to be our friend. The healer can gain 2 charges, or we can gain 1. I think we're happy with the healer gaining 2 charges. We are doing just fine gaining charges ourselves. So 2 away from getting another 4 heal. Okay. And now it's going to be the Nemesis's turn again. Oh, that's not great. Oh, that's even worse. So that'll go down. Unleash. So right off the bat, he's going to lose a token and he's going to trigger his infection on me. Oh, I don't know if we want to necessarily lose a card this turn. Our hand isn't that crazy. So I think we're going to take the damage because we do have a way to trigger the heal next turn. Okay, any player suffers 1 damage and discards a card in hand. Oh boy. So there is another damage, and we will get rid of a crystal. If that card, oh, I guess I have to decide here. If that card is a gem, Gravehold suffers 2. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to lose the other one, so our Gravehold is going to lose 2. Now, this is where it gets bad. So because now the persistent on this Bane Sire is to unleash again, he's going to gain a token and I'm going to get another infection. Discard a card in hand that costs 3 or more or suffer 1 damage. Oof. So that was 2 unleashes with the possibility of another one coming up. All right. Me. All right, so we do have some damage we can deal out here. We can do 4. So that's going to bring this guy down to 2. Get rid of these guys. We do have a spell, a heavy hitter. Okay. And an ally gets to draw a card. Okay, we do have another spark we get to use up at least. And we're gonna do the bottom effect on this guy. That's gonna let us lose a charge and give our friend 2. Which is going to be enough to trigger bandage, and we are going to heal for 4 because I don't like the amount of damage that's coming out. 3, 4. Okay, and that's going to leave us with just 2 tokens left, so we're going to go ahead and gain a charge back. And yeah. We did not have enough to get rid of that power. Hopefully it is us. It is. We are really hoping for some money coming up here soon. Okay, so we are going to do 1 damage with Spark and 1 damage with Restoration Siphon. So 1 damage with this guy first. And that is going to let us heal our Gravehold for 3. Then 1 damage with Spark, which is going to finish him off. And he had Electrify, so that'll trigger now, and we gain a charge. Okay, and I believe I get to choose if I want to do it, which we probably will. So this guy is gone. Okay, let's try to understand this again. That player focuses a breach. Then you gain a card from the supply that costs up to twice the focus cost of their open breach with the highest focus cost. What? I don't know why that's so confusing for me to understand. That player focuses a breach, then you gain a card from the supply that costs up to twice the focus cost of their opened breach with the highest focus cost. Now this is opening it, not focusing it. So could I use it on that? I don't think I could, because that is considered opening, while the other effect is considered focusing. They are explicitly different. So I can focus one, so I would only be able to focus this. Okay. Then you gain a card from the supply that costs up to twice the focus cost of their open breach with the highest focus cost. So the focus is the same number for each, or like for that particular one, it's always like 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 2, 2, 2. So this is the highest focus cost of their open breach. Okay. So I believe I get to get a card worth 4. If I use that. Do I have to use that? That's my question. I guess let's just look and see if we want something for 4. I mean, Washington could be really good here. So I think we'll go ahead and do that. And we're gonna develop Defensive Dome. So we can acquire that for 4 on a future turn, or possibly this one. Now I'm gonna go ahead and prep that spell. We are going to destroy this Scorched Pearl for 3, so we gain 3 there. 3, we need 6 for that guy. 4, 5, 6. So we could spend and get rid of that. It just doesn't feel great. Okay, let's do it. Let's just play it safe. So we're gonna spend 6 for that. And then we gain 3 here. We don't have a charge to lose. And there's no enemy to immolate, so we don't want to do that anyway. So we gain 3. And I think we're gonna go ahead and open our 3rd breach, which will make this power even more beneficial here, because then we can get 6 cost cards if we end up doing that again. Discard these guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See who goes next. And it is us to end this round. So we're gonna go ahead and do 6 damage to the boss, because why not? So he is down to 37. Getting there, getting there. So this guy will go to the graveyard. And we have a bunch of money. Okay, so this turn we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6. So what we're going to do first is 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to focus this guy up. So we are 1 away from opening that guy up, which is going to be very, very powerful. And because we open that up with 4, we're going to discard this. We gain 2 plus 1. So we're at 3 now. Okay. I think we're going to go ahead and get a charge. We are very close to triggering the ability to do 8 damage with that, which would be super awesome. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and draw up to 5. I forgot we had that defensive dome sitting over there, but that's okay. It's probably good to get the breach going. The third breach now is +1 damage on cast. The last one says once open, +1 damage for each other opened breach Thraxus has. So that's going to do +3 damage on that guy. And that could be really good for our low, or like low damage spells as well. Okay, so foe's going to go first here. Place a broodling into play. The swarm gains 1 charge. Oh. So he's at 3. And a broodling's going to come out. It's just a normal broodling this time. Nothing crazy. He is going to hurt us though if the nemesis gets to go next. So our deck ran out for the foe. We shuffled, and then we're going to flip over the top card. So now we got this guy out. Check the turn order, and it is us. So we do have an opportunity to get rid of him. And once again, we had the mirror, so I'm going to go ahead and put Electrify on him. Tisk, tisk. I need to check my hand before I go through these turns. Okay. We're going to go ahead and play our Legacy Slayer. Yeah, we'll put that in the 3rd slot. And then we're going to do Spark. Then we're going to play our Mirror, which lets us draw a card, gain a token. So we got 2 tokens here. Now we could speed up our healer's charges again. Or do we want to build up to do a big hit on the boss? That is the question. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 if we use this for that. We're going to do that. So we can flip over our last breach. So that is going to be that. More of a setup turn than it is anything exciting. 3, 4, 5. But that last slot is going to be very, very powerful now. That's kind of exciting. All right, let's see who goes next. Hey, it's us. That's beautiful. Okay. So we're going to trigger our spells first. So this guy is going to do 4 damage now instead of 3, which doesn't really matter here because the enemy only has 3, but he's dead. Okay, and he had Electrify, so we gain a charge. Broodling goes back up top there. And then for our Spark, we will just do 1 damage to the boss. 36 health. We are going to play Restoration Siphon in the 4th breach slot. Heck yes. Spark in the 3rd. Ooh, here we go. And there's no enemies, so once again, we're not going to lose a charge to Immolate, but we have 3, 4, 5, 6 Aether tokens. And we don't, like, definitely, you know what? We're going to snag the defensive dome for 4. And then with our last 2, we're going to get a token here. So we are rearing up to have a pretty hefty turn in terms of damage. And we have the eventual possibility of blocking a minion. And if we don't, the card also heals. So it is not a bad card by any means. Let's see if we have the mirror. Okay, we don't. Before we draw and mess that up. And it's going to be the Nemesis. Oh, Plague Bringer. This is a new guy. 7 health. Immediately, this minion suffers damage equal to the number of players in the game. Interesting. So he is much weaker with more people. Huh. That's odd. Then it's persistent. Gravehold suffers 2 damage, or reveal the top card of the infection deck. The player with the fewest infections gains that infection. I don't like it. I do not like it. Man, why does he take more damage with more people? You think it would be kind of the other way around, since people have a lot more opportunity to kind of smash on this guy? I don't know. Interesting. All right. Well, let's see if we go next. If we do. So, I mean, this is insane overkill. We can do 9 damage, or for each opened. So we could do 4 and then 2, which is enough. And we get the heal. So that's actually fantastic. So because we have the open judgment breach, which is unique to this character, and we have 4 open breaches, it does say +1 damage for each other open breach. So he has 3 additional. So our second option of dealing 1 damage and healing for 3 would actually do 4 damage and heal for 3. And our spark is in an open breach that has +1 damage on cast. So that would do 2 damage. So we can actually do 6, even with picking the weaker option, which is gonna defeat that enemy for us, and it's gonna heal our Gravehold by 3. So that is awesome. And he doesn't even get his effect off. And our Gravehold is almost at full health now. Okay. We're going to go ahead and put our Restoration Siphon in there again. And here we have 2, 3, 4, 5. And we could notch... Oh yeah, we have nothing else to focus here, so this card doesn't really have any benefit there anymore. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5 buy. I mean, Time Rift, it could be a good time to snag a Time Rift. Let's do that. Oh, we could also trigger that. I think we'll stick with Time Rift for now, but it might be worth it to just supercharge our character and just proc that Reality Warp as much as we can now that we have all of our breaches opened. Get 5, and it's gonna be us again. Ooh, okay. So we are gonna be doing 6 damage plus 3, so we're doing 9 damage to the boss. 6, so that's gonna put him down to 27. He is definitely hurting. We don't have any spells to prep. So I'm gonna use my mirror, which lets me draw a card. Ooh, okay. And we're gonna prep our Legacy Slayer in the 4th slot. Now, I don't know if I can prep a spell in a slot that's already open, or if you can only do it during your main phase if you focus or open the breach that turn. No, I think you can. Because after you cast your spells, yeah, during the main phase is when you prep them. I think we're good. Okay. So, we have 1, 2. Ooh, we could give our healer 3, 4. Yeah, okay. So we are going to get rid of 1 with this guy in order to give our healer 2 charges. Just have that backup heal ready to go. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 left. we are going to use the last 4 in order to fully charge up our character, and we're going to use Reality Warp to do 8 damage to the boss. He is now at 19. I think we are nearing victory here. Let's put the mirror there. I haven't really had many opportunities to immolate, to get rid of cards, so it hasn't been super effective this game. All right, we got 5. We do not have the mirror, but we do have the dome. So we can stop an attack if the Nemesis goes and draws 1. Okay, it's the Nemesis's turn. And we got a power card. So it's a power of 3, have to spend 6, called Bubbling Veins. Otherwise, reveal the top 2 cards of the Infection deck. The players collectively gain. So I would gain both of those. So that is not ideal. Okay, then it's going to be our friend. The healer can gain 2 charges, or any player can gain 1. We will let the healer gain 2 charges there. 1 away from a heal. I just like having that backup in reserve. We are pretty healthy right now, but you never know what's going to come out and just deal a bunch of damage to us. Okay. Okay, allows a focus, or we can discard a prep spell, and the healer can gain 3 charges. So, it's kind of odd. We almost want to take damage soon. So if we do get an Unleash proc and take 2 damage from these infections, that actually wouldn't be too bad right now, because we can guarantee trigger a heal. Okay, it is going to be the Nemesis. All right, we got the Merc Spewer. 1 health. Interesting. If this minion was defeated by damage from a spark, gain an infection. So I have to use something that isn't spark. Persistent, Gravehold suffers 2 damage. So that happens if we get around again. Oh, he has 3 armor. So armor in this game, any source of damage you do to an enemy, that single source will only ever do 1 armor's worth of damage. So that is going to prevent it from, you know, us just pushing through with a large number, which isn't super great. I'm just gonna double check to make sure none of the other minions had that. Nope. Okay, want to make sure I didn't mess that up. So that thing is a little bit more annoying than I thought. I was excited when I saw 1 damage, but no. This is gonna lose a power charge as well, so it is now 2 away from loading me up with infections. Okay, it's gonna be our friend. Oof. I really don't want to discard a prep spell, but the only other effect on that is for any player to focus a breach, which we have nothing left to focus. Oh, and we don't really have a lot of health to heal either, so we're gonna choose the focus option even though we can't, because we don't want to discard a spell or proc a heal when we're both 1 health away from max. Okay, that was unfortunate. Kind of a waste on that. Okay, and then it's going to be us. We are going to set up our spark over here. And then defensive dome lets any player gain 2 life. So we will go to 10, which is our max. Okay. And then we have 3. Do we go for the immolate? Probably not. 3, 4, 5, 6. We are 1 short of really getting the big guys that we want. So I think we're just going to use all 6 to get our charges going here. And I'm sorry, we should have used our Legacy Slayer. So we are going to use that. Technically it's doing 4 damage, but it's just going to get rid of 1 of these armor charges. We could also just hit the boss. Actually, it's going to do more than 4. It's going to do 6. Do we just hit the boss and ignore this guy? He just does 2 damage to the great. Yeah, you know what? We're just hitting the boss. We're gonna hit the boss for 6. So he's down to 13. Hopefully we don't regret this. I think we just go all in and try to beat the boss at this point. Just because it's gonna take a while to kind of wear down those shields unless we just waste a lot of spells, and he's already so low. You know, I think we just kind of go all in and see what happens. So we're gonna flip this guy over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See who goes next. It is us. Beautiful, 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 beautiful. We're gonna cast our spark for 1 on the boss. He is down to 12. Set up our restoration siphon on that last slot there. Use our time rift on the 3rd, and then a spark on the 2nd. We are loaded up. So we have 3 coins here. We are going to activate another charge on ourselves, proc reality warp, and do 8 damage to the boss, which leaves him at 4. And if we get to go again, we are going to end the game because we have lots of spells ready to go. Let's see what happens. Oh, and it is us again. Okay, and that's going to be GG. So we will use our restoration siphon. That's going to do 9 damage to the boss with 4 health left. He is dead. All right. So that is going to be our playthrough of Aeons End The Descent. So this was just the tutorial boss. Did not seem super difficult. I don't know the other characters yet. I haven't played any of the other ones. This is the first time playing one of the characters from this set and playing with the friends and foe mechanic, and then obviously some of the new cards and one of the new bosses that are in this one. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. Not having to shuffle your deck is a interesting concept that is not used in many games. So it is kind of neat where you get to organize what cards you want to come up sooner when you are organizing your discard pile and going through your deck. Or I'm sorry, discarding your hand and everything that you had played. I do know that there's a lot of customization, so as we get further into this game, there are several envelopes in the game that are going to unlock more shop cards, unlock more friends, more foes, and you get to mix and match all of that. So this is just a preset of what they suggest for the tutorial or what they tell you to use. And then after that, the beauty of Aeons End is not only are you picking your character or your breach mage every time, but you're also now going to have that option of figuring out, like, maybe our characters are not great at healing, and Delana the healer is a good way to compensate for that. And we can generate charges that we can transfer over to Delana in order to make sure that we get those heals coming a little bit more frequently and focus on being like super aggressive. And I'm sure there's going to be friends that maybe do more damage, maybe do more status effects, and we benefit from the status effects that are going out. I can only imagine all of the different options that are going to be in there. The infection boss was pretty interesting. The Scorched Pearl, and I'm guessing this is just because this is the tutorial edition. These cards have zeros on the bottom right, which is going to be like the easiest version of these bosses. Seemed very almost beneficial. So you could choose to gain a single Aether token and suffer 1 damage, or gain 3 and then destroy the card. I don't really know in what scenario you would not choose to get 3 and destroy it. So that almost just felt like, it didn't even feel like a punishment whenever we got that curse. So that was interesting. I don't know if they're intended to be bad. Like I said, that's a new mechanic for me. So I don't know if that is the intention or if it's just supposed to be a forced card in your deck that may not synergize well. I don't really know. But I do really like the varying monsters, the different immediate effects, defeat effects, persistent effects. All of the power cards seemed you know, they were pretty tense with some of the effects. Like if I let a lot of those unleashes go out, I definitely could have got overwhelmed with infections and then just started to kind of crash. I do really like his 4th breach, where you just get like a huge damage boost on any spells that you put in that slot. So he definitely seems like he is more of a like a damage dealing breach mage, which was pretty fun. His top effect of the reality warp, I was a little confused on. I think I understand it now, and it does say you can activate it during any player's main phase, so I could use that on somebody else's phase in order to help them acquire a card. Let me see. Oh no, then I gain a card, so I can use it to help a player focus a breach if they're struggling, or maybe they're able to like line up a really powerful turn, and then I gain a card from the supply because of that. So that's a really fun like co-op support aspect of that power, while also having that once all your breaches are good. Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize that. So it's if that player has no closed breaches, deal 8 damage. So even if I don't have all my breaches done or opened and someone else did, I could benefit off of them having full open breaches and just get that 8 damage to like tackle a really tough enemy or just hit the boss. That's awesome. So I didn't even fully understand that. So that is a really cool like cooperative, like, you know, team aspect type ability. That's really fun. Yeah, so I didn't expect this to be super difficult, being the tutorial fight. You know, there was a little bit of a challenge there. It wasn't crazy difficult, but I really enjoyed myself. So I'm excited to see more of these cards, more of the crazy combinations we can make up, and yeah, just more of the enemies, the allies, everything. I really enjoyed it. So look forward to hearing more about future, you know, boss encounters that we take on in Aeons End. And I do want to try this in a co-op environment with Amber as well. So we will get at least a 2-player, if not more, game going and see how that feels as well. And having more breach mages and more, you know, different triggering abilities that we have and how those synergize. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye, adventurers.